because they're hopeful.
I'm
turning 48 and I think...
Welcome to Dave's Take. Today we're talking about Materialists, the new film from CELINE, the director and writer from Past Lives. So Materialists is about this girl that works at a matchmaking company. Like, basically think of Tinder or Bumble has like an office, but you could pay like a premium subscription to legitimately get like the perfect match for yourself. You can request anything: height, income, how they look, feel, anything like that. And she's really good at her job. She's seen like 9 marriages happen because of her. But then she finds herself in a little love triangle with her perfect match and her ex-boyfriend. It's not like I don't like romantic movies or like rom-coms. I just think it takes a lot for them to really impress me. But I was really excited for this film because Past Lives was one of my favorite films of that year. And CELINE Song really made a personal and real love story that, like I said, just feels real. So I was excited to see what she does next. And we have an all-star cast here with Chris Evans, Dakota Johnson, Pedro Pascal. And I really enjoyed Materialists. I thought this is a really well-made, well-written romantic movie. It is sort of a rom-com. Like, it definitely is a rom-com, but I would say it leans more on the romance here. But first thing I want to say is I think this movie is directed beautifully. There are some really great shots, but there are a lot of scenes where we have this dialogue that is written very beautifully. It's really well recognized, but we have the camera just sit on our actors and they deliver this very long lines of dialogue. They even make a joke about that at one point in the movie, and I just thought those shots and the way the actors were performing was really impressive. Speaking of those actors, everyone does a great job. Dakota Johnson is great here. There's a lot with her character where she's kind of going on this journey, kind of recognizing herself, what she really wants, and what it really means to have that perfect match. She looks at everything very analytical when it comes to romance and love, and seeing her journey, just kind of recognizing the different logistics of that and how that really affects people and herself, was a really interesting story. Pedro Pascal and Chris Evans are great too, but I think what really steals the show with this movie, just like Past Lives, is the dialogue, it's the script. I think it's really great here. This story could have gone the typical romantic route, but it goes in a way I wasn't expecting. And it really has this view on dating in general and our perception of love and finding that other partner. It sometimes even feels shallow in some ways when it comes to trying to find your perfect match, of people just being picky and that type of stuff. But I appreciate the film's realism when it comes to this type of stuff. There's definitely parts of this movie that doesn't feel entirely real, but I have to say the way they approached this type of subject matter felt really grounded, and it really works for this film. I really love the character development here. There's some complicated things that's happening to Dakota Johnson, and like I said, she does a great job really portraying that, but there's character development with Pedro Pascal and Chris Evans, and I thought the film really executed that well too. My only issues with this film is I feel like it stays its welcome a little too long. I think the film probably could have been like 10 minutes shorter. It definitely feels its runtime and even a little bit longer than that. I'm not trying to say the film has like bad pacing or anything. I was never bored in the film, but I would say there's definitely parts that drag more than others. And I thought the ending was great, but I do think there were things that sort of took a while to get there. But yeah, overall, I was really engaged and invested in this story, which I think is the most important part. It's extremely well written, well recognized. It feels very real with some great characters that have great development and great performances. Some great shots, some great directing, some great filmmaking. I think this is an excellent follow-up to Past Lives. If you're a big fan of that film, I think you'll love this film too. I'm going to give Materialists 8 Davey Daves. This film is definitely not as good as Past Lives, so if you're going into this thinking it's like Past Lives 2 or something just as good as Past Lives, you might be disappointed. And I do think you should manage your expectations because Past Lives is just like absolutely incredible. So Materialists, let me know what you guys thought of it once you've seen it. I'm curious to hear, and thank you so much for watching. Click here to see more of Dave's Takes.